So let's start with this. We've got live action How to Train Your Dragon race swaps Astrid with Tandy Newton's daughter, Nico Parker. This was written by our very own Nerdigans Inc. She did a great job on this. But there you can see right there, looking at, if you scroll back up, you can see looking at the featured image, you can tell this is clearly a race swap. That is Astrid from the third How to Train Your Dragon movie. I think it was called The Hidden Realm, I think, where she finds like a white dragon. I think that's the dragon that she rides on, who's like kind of a mate with Hiccup's.
Are they allowed
Toothless.
to? Are they allowed to say white dragon? Are they allowed to say that?
It's clearly a white dragon. Like, I'm going to say it. If YouTube censors us for it,
so was Peacemaker's dad, but he was a different kind of white dragon.
yeah. Oh, I see where you're going. You're going there. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, clearly doesn't look anything like the character, and that is Nico Parker as Sarah Miller from the recently released The Last of Us series, which just came out earlier this year. She plays Sarah Miller. So. Yeah, I think Dungeon Master Blaster puts it pretty accurate. I do think this is a nepotism thing. I know some people are saying she's a good actress, but I mean, I can't really comment on it. My initial reaction was indeed it was nepotism, given it is Tandy Newton's daughter. Sure. That's not to say that there haven't been good actors that have had acting families, or their parents have been actors as well. So that's possible. So I can't really comment specifically on that, but that was kind of where my initial reaction went to when I saw that she was Tandy Newton's daughter. But she, because I mean, I like Nicolas Cage, right? I think Nicolas Cage is a great actor, but obviously he changed his name to Nicolas Cage so that he wouldn't be getting roles due to his uncle. I think is his uncle, right? Is Godfather director, whose name I'm blanking on right now as well.
Scorsese?
No. Coppola. Francis Ford Coppola, I think is his uncle. Because Cage's real name is, he's a Coppola.
I get my Italian mob-obsessed directors mixed up sometimes. You'll have to.
Yeah, that's just how I get Chris Tucker and Chris Rock mixed up.
Right.
Yeah. And then JEC says Carrie Fisher was I guess that's the term that all the kids are using now, Nepo baby.
Oh.
But
JEC, you youngster.
I've seen that in like people, and I was like, "What is this?" And then I realized what it was. But she clearly doesn't look anything like Astrid. She does not have blonde hair. She doesn't have blue eyes. She's not white. She's obviously mixed race. Her hair doesn't look anything like Astrid's hair, and even from the color. So this is just an awful.
More fun if they casted her as Hiccup. That would be even more. That'd be
yes.
More fun.
Why not? Right? Why not?
Why not? Race and gender swap. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Full throttle, baby.
What do they call that? There's a term for that too, where you're just like go full bore to burn it all down quicker, right?
Yeah. I think the racing legend
Daryl, or something like that.
The racing legend Daryl something or other coined the term "go big or go home."
Daryl Waltrip, maybe.
Daryl Waltrip, yeah, that was the guy. He said, "Go big or go home." Yeah. Dungeon Master accelerationism. Yeah, just accelerate even faster. I mean, to me, if you're doing this, I talk about this all the time. Talked about this last night. If you get the casting wrong, the film is going to be full of all kinds of woke nonsense as well. And it's just going to be an absolute disaster, and it is immediately dead on arrival. If you can't be accurate to the source material when it comes to the casting, you're not going to be accurate to the rest of the story. So just it's done. So I think you're accurate there. They might as well have just made her play Hiccup, and it would have you're going to get the same end results. Just a terrible, awful film that is a cheap imitation of the original movie adaptation, and then more than likely the books. And I will say I haven't actually looked into the books, but I would wager that the books show Astrid as a blonde white girl who is a Viking, because the books are literally set in, in like a fictional Viking aesthetic. So. Well, the other thing about this I learned as I was going through Twitter after the Black Pill last night, that the Little Mermaid, they actually weaved threads of red hair into the actress's hair. That is like turbo racist. That I can't even quantify the amount of race that's literally whitewashing a living human being.
So there are I've met people that are mixed race that do have red hair. One of the guys went to elementary school, had red hair.
No, I meant like she's who she is, and they're changing her. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because they are like
they don't have faith in her appearance.
They're fine with changing the character's race, but they don't want to change the character's hair color, right? That's what's intrinsic to the character, right? That's what they would argue. Like, she has to have red hair, but it doesn't matter what her skin tone is. And it's like, all those kind of arguments are just disingenuous anyways, because for at least from my perspective, because my perspective is it's very simple. It's like, this is how the character was either described in the books, the novels, or how they were originally depicted in like the comics or the original film, animated film or something like that. And you should stay true to that, because that's what the character looks like.
Well, really, it's simple. What is the popular convention, right? What is it popularly accepted as? You would not put Darth Vader in bright hot pink, like hot rod pink, and send him through the same movie with the same lines and same attitude. That doesn't work.
Right.
It takes away from what you're trying to do with the character. And that's the problem.
And Darth Vader's you could use him as another good example. When he takes off his helmet, it's not James Earl Jones, right? It's not. That's not what he looks like.
Right.
And just to say, like, if you changed his voice, and it wasn't someone who is a trained voice actor that can mimic James Earl Jones or like really almost sound exactly like him. Yeah, if you're getting like a Pee Wee Herman voice, no, that's not Darth Vader anymore, because that's not who Darth Vader is. He doesn't sound like that, and he doesn't look like that. Because you need that combination. And I also think that's something that I was talking to my wife about The Little Mermaid, and she actually was saying that they completely miscast Ursula with Melissa McCarthy because she can't sing. And I was like, well, they should have and I keep saying, like, I don't understand why Hollywood doesn't do this anymore. They used to do this all the time. They would cast people. I mean, obviously Julie Andrews is an exception in The Sound of Music, but I'm gonna go to The Sound of Music here. And they cast Christopher Plummer to play the captain. He plays the captain in The Sound of Music, and he's just a fantastic job as the captain, but he can't sing. They have someone else actually do the singing parts where he sings, and he's just what is it called? He's just mouthing it, wording it, like he's just doing it. And I don't understand why they don't do that anymore. That's something that they used to do. That's all part of movie magic. I think even if you watch The Sound of Music now, it's can be hard to tell whether or not he's actually singing or not. I didn't know that until my wife told me that. I didn't look that up, but I don't understand why they don't do that. You know, obviously, they probably don't do that because they're afraid of these like Twitter mobs and everything like that. But I think the Twitter mobs have pretty much been taken care of, at least under Elon. I have not seen them actually really do any kind of significant damage that we had them do previously. We haven't seen them be weaponized as much.
That should really speak to how he's cut down on the bots and how many bots they were using to flood a thread, a comment.
We haven't seen them calling for anyone to be fired or anything like that, like what they were doing with Gina Carano.
Big cancel mobs.
Yeah, I haven't seen those. Maybe they're out there still, and I just haven't seen them, or they just haven't. They aren't as effective as what they once were, because there is maybe a shift a little bit, or maybe not a shift, but the people that weren't as active are now like way more active and speaking up and pushing back against this and telling people no, because that's what you need to do. Lip syncing. Thank you, BMG Excalibur. That's the word that I was thinking for. But so there's that. That's
Ashley Simpson.
You could do that. I don't
for that. Remember?
Yeah,
she was on SNL and she got caught like completely missing.
That's totally different because she's a singer, right? And she's supposed to be singing her songs, and she's selling like the thing that she's selling is her singing, and that's totally different than casting Christopher Plummer to play the captain. And he's a great actor, but unfortunately, he didn't have the chops to do the singing, so they got another guy to come in and do the singing, and it's just as good. And they paid him to do the singing, and then you combine that as the movie magic, and like you're not selling. You're selling the image of this character singing, and he's playing the character anyways, right? It's all fictional anyways. It's not like I'm going to see Ashley or whatever, Jessica Simpson, Ashley Simpson, whoever it was, sing the song.
Apparently, they hired Audrey Hepburn over Julie Andrews for My Fair Lady. There was a controversy about how they needed to dub Audrey Hepburn during the songs. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that, but like again, I think that they should follow that kind of Sound of Music model where you can do that. You get an actor to play the actor, and then if they need a singing role, you get someone to do the singing that can be better at singing. So like I wouldn't. So with the Little Mermaid, case in point, they should have hired an act. Like if they couldn't find an actress that could sing the songs, as well as say Halle Bailey sings the songs. They should have still gotten an actress that looks like Ariel and then dub over the songs with Halle Bailey's voice if that's what they wanted to do. And I think that's what they should have done, but they're not going to do that because they're cowards and they're afraid of being called racist or whatever. I think the new thing now that they're using, I saw Ryan Kindle was doing a video, and I guess it's supposedly coming from some South Korean website where they're calling it review terrorism or something like that. They're literally saying that people expressing distaste for a film and giving it a 1 out of 10 on any kind of review site, you're now committing review terrorism. So they're trying to call you a terrorist now by saying you're engaging in the act of review terrorism. Just utterly absurd. And then I saw Deadline was picking up on it. Some Walt Disney blog was picking up on it as well.
Of course.
So, yeah. But yeah, so they cast it. So here we go. Let's go through this. We can scroll down a little bit here. The guy they cast to play Hiccup actually, I think, looks like him. I don't have a picture of him in here. But what's his name? Keep going here.
A little bit after this.
Keep going. That's still some more backstory. Right here. There we go. Black phone actor Mason Thames. I think he probably does the job. He looks like Hiccup. Pretty accurate. I think you can see him doing that if you want to pull up images here of him. Let's see if my internet starts working. I think he could do an act. Yeah, there you go. He kind of looks like Hiccup, right? Especially from that first film. Obviously, I think some of the images I was showing was 2015, so a little older, but Hiccup in the original film, I think, is around 15, 16. They're teenagers, and then I think by the third film,
now or fairly recently.
Yeah, that looks more recent than the one on the left. He looks a lot younger than the one on the left. Yeah, but he looks like he could play kind of like the scrawny Hiccup that we see in the first film. And then obviously he fills out a little bit, gets a little bit stronger as he ages. He's obviously doing some hard labor, riding the dragon all the time. Like I would assume that takes some. You build up some strong muscles in your upper body there. I don't know if anyone has done any kind of like water skiing or kneeboarding or wakeboarding or anything like that. When you're being pulled by a boat, you build up some muscles. You build up some muscles there, just holding on to the rope. So I think he looks accurate. Nothing wrong with that. But if you scroll down here, there's another image of Nico Parker as Sarah. She doesn't look like Astrid at all, and she should never have been cast. The casting agent should have never even contacted her because she doesn't look like the character. She just doesn't.
Why not make a new character? It's not like it's a small universe.
Yeah, I don't know. They could have brought they could have introduced some other character. Like maybe they could have gone down to like Sicily or something. The Vikings did do that historically. They occupied Sicily. Clearly, that gives you access to the Mediterranean,
well, this
North
whole
Africa, all that kinds of stuff.
Giant underground kingdom of dragons. It's kind of hollow earthy. So traveling around the world and intersecting with other cultures isn't that difficult. So if you're a dragon rider, you're going to meet other dragon riders down in the kingdom.